company, and I'm afraid I'm dressed for work, not for calling.
Anyone who steps foot on Bellacres is company.
Bellacres? That's what the locals call this old plantation, isn't it?
Yup, don't let Amanda Chicken Wing hear you say that. She still thinks Bellacres is the finest piece of real estate in Tudball County. Miss Amanda! Even an old colonel knew it wasn't worth a bushel of peppercorn. I do miss that man fussing over his 5 o'clock julep. I knew he's failing fast. He didn't have much color in the end. White as a new sheet. The only way the colonel could get color in his face was to stick his tongue out, but purple wasn't his favorite color.
I'm sorry, I never got to meet your employer. U.S. Senator, wasn't he?
Until we introduced a bill that made Bellacres a separate state. After that, they sort of eased him out. It's too bad, though. It's the only time we ever had unfolded money on this place.
So it was a short political career then.
Any shorter, and it would have been in the Guinness Book of Records.
How delightful, a visitor on a hot summer day. I always say a visitor on a hot summer day is better than no visitor on a hot summer day. Don't I always say a visitor on a hot summer day is better than no visitor on a hot summer day, Jezebel?
Uh-huh. That's what you always say, Miss Amanda.
Don't tell me. I know who you are.
You do?
You're Bubba.
Bubba?
Bubba Komrowski.
Bubba Komrowski?
My distant relation. My, how you have changed, Bubba, for the better, I declare. Why, the last time I set eyes on you, you were a plumb boy child of 12.
I'm afraid you're confusing me with someone else, Miss Turkey Leg.
That's Chicken Wing.
Oh, sorry.
He ain't Bubba.
Of course he's Bubba. You think I've taken leave of my senses? Pay no attention to Jezebel, Bubba. She's determined to be disagreeable.
I tell you, he ain't.
'Tis.
His name is Bog.
Bubba Ball?
Pete Bog.
You trying to be amusing?
No.
That is a ridiculous name for a human being.
Well, Bubba Komrowski ain't gonna win no prize.
I have to talk to you about the excavation.
Excavation? What are you talking about?
We're raising the levee, and I'm afraid we're going to have to do some drainage work on your property, Miss Chicken Wing.
Why?
You know how houses get flooded in town during the storm? Each season things get worse, so the city has decided to correct the situation.
What do you mean when you say drainage work?
I'm going to have to do some digging.
You mean machines making noise and causing dust?
I'll try my best to keep it to a minimum.
I couldn't allow you to desecrate Bellacres in such a fashion.
Oh, what difference does it make? The state's gonna condemn this place for back taxes anyway.
That's enough, Jezebel. You may fetch us some cooling Coca-Colas.
All right, but Sheriff Billy Jerk called up. He says autopsies this morning. Says he'll call you when he gets the results.
Sheriff Billy Jerk is the only lawman in these parts that can put 2 and 2 together and get 5. Well, he's consumed with the fanciful notion that my brother died by drowning.
How's that again, Miss Chicken Wing?
Drowning?
Drowning?
Now, I ask you, how could a body sit in that chair and drown?
That does seem a bit far-fetched.
It's downright ludicrous. Why, Sheriff Billy Jerk couldn't find an elephant with a nosebleed in the snow.
About the digging.
As for Jezebel's statement about the place being condemned, what can I say? The woman has given herself over to mendacity.
I don't have much time.
Mendacity and perversity.
If I can get a few things settled,
Mendacity and perversity.
I'd like to begin digging first thing in the morning.
Mendacity and perversity and woefulness and
I'll
chicane.
come back another time.
Mendacity and perversity and woefulness and chicane.
How do, Cousin Amanda?
Mendacity and perversity and woefulness and
I
stubbornness.
said, how do, Cousin Amanda?
Who's that talking up there?
Not up there, Cousin Amanda. Over here.
Oh, it's you, Cousin Thornbird. You move about like a whisper in a wisteria tree. I didn't hear you approach.
I noticed.
This is my distant cousin Thornbird Chicken Wing III. He's a rider. He's sickly. Bubba was just telling me how he wants to dig up the place. I told him it would be quite impossible since Bellacres is the richest property on the Delta.
Cousin Amanda is more comfortable living in the past. Actually, this place is so down the hill, we only have running water when it rains. And I never did laugh at Jezebel's coffee. I'm going to be old and weak someday myself.
Cousin Thornbird, would you like to feed my Venus flytraps?
Thank you kindly, Cousin Amanda, but no. I can't tolerate violence.
We'll talk again.
I certainly hope so, Bubba.
You know, I discovered the most peculiar thing with my typewriter only this morning when I was composing a few lines of sensitive poetry.
What was that?
The O on my typewriter was upside down.
Incidentally, my name's Ball, Pete Ball.
You trying to be amusing? No one has a name like that.
I don't mean to be impolite, but Thornbird isn't exactly a rival for Tom, Dick, or Harry.
That's because Thornbird Chicken Wing III is unique. There's only one of me.
My late brother used to say Thornbird was one Thornbird too many.
Yes, well, I'd better be going.
You do that, Bubba.
We'll talk again.
Not about digging up this property, we won't.
Couldn't be Bubba. Bubba was crude and coarse. Bubba was pugnacious and mostly trash. When we were children, he used to bully me and call me weird and beat me up behind the cotton gin mill. I sure did learn to hate Bubba Kamrowski.
Bubba couldn't understand a delicate poet like yourself, Thornbird.
I didn't understand a trashy old gorilla like Bubba, but that didn't mean he had to beat me up behind the cotton gin mill.
That was a long time ago. Gone with the wind.
As far as Bubba is concerned, it's gone with the goon. I shall never forget his deliberate cruelty.
Don't live in the past.
You're a fine one to talk, Cousin Amanda. You live so far in the past, you're practically a footnote. Flies, flies, flies everywhere.
For my Venus flytraps.
I don't like the flies in here.
I'll see if I can get some new ones.
I saw that nice gentleman caller leaving.
Imagine, he wants to dig up the place.
Well, if he don't, we might flood out. Almost happened last year during the fox hunt. We had bullfrogs in the beds and water snakes in the pipes.
What's so unusual about that?
I'll speak to the sheriff about him.
It won't do no good. That man had an order from the state authorities.
To dig or not to dig? That is the question.
What about these cooling colas?
You'll think of something.
Whatever you say.
Oh, what is this thing? Oh, get it off me! Somebody help! What was that thing? I wrestled a bear one time and I fought off a gang of motorcycle outlaws single-handed. But until today, I ain't never messed with no attacking bush.
That wasn't a bush, it was a honeysuckle vine.
Large, Miss Amanda grows the largest honeysuckle vines in the state.
The meanest, too. That thing ought to be locked up.
You must have said something to offend it. Honeysuckle vines are sensitive.
Like poets.
You're Bubba.
Bubba Kamrowski.
I'd know you anywhere, Bubba, as rambunctious as ever. Why, Cousin Thornbird was just talking about your happy boyhood together only a moment ago.
Thornbird? You mean some misery hasn't carried him off yet? When I was a boy, I didn't think he'd last one more long, hot summer.
My poetry keeps me alive.
Well, I guess this means another room. I best go fix the sheets.
Oh, don't go changing the sheets for me.
Who said anything about changing them? I just move them from one bedroom to another.
Bubba, standing over there looking peaked is your distant Cousin Thornbird. I want bygones to be bygones. Shake hands and be friends.
Slap me there, Thornbird. It's been a long time.
Not long enough.
You know what they say, it takes a wedding or a funeral to bring kinfolk together.
Or the reading of a will.
I guess that's what's left of the family, except for Blanche.
Blanche?
Blanche DuBlanc, your distant cousin.
Ain't she a school teacher or something like that?
In a kindergarten, I believe. Well, I remember Blanche as being the most promising female person. Of course, she never did marry. As I recall, there was a big scandal about that.
Not as big as the scandal Blanche caused at the annual Beau Arts Cotillion when they had a select Miss Watermelon patch and Blanche showed up wearing a red bikini.
At the cotillion? Why, that's a big society affair, ain't it?
The biggest, and tradition says can't wear anything but white.
White evening gowns?
No, white bikinis. Say, Bubba, what kind of work are you in? Truck driving? Garbage hauling? Something physical, I reckon.
Showbiz.
Showbiz.
Yeah, I work in a bowling alley.
I didn't realize working in a bowling alley was considered show business.
Well, what I do is juggling bowling balls in the luncheonette section.
A common juggler.
Is there any money to be made juggling bowling balls in a luncheonette?
Tips?
Enough to sustain body and soul?
You bet. See, I get them, the balls are bouncing good. Then I do it over a customer's head. Pretty soon they get scared and leave a nice fat tip on the table, so I move away. Clever, huh?
You always were a clever lad, Bubba.
Sounds more like blackmail. Pay up or get your cranium cracked.
You trying to put me down, Thornbird?
Whatever gave you that idea?
You have a sneer where you should have a smile. You always did think I was a lowly person.
Well, I do recollect the time I said you could walk under a snake's belly wearing a top hat.
You see what I mean?
Don't take it personal.
What you said about me and that reptile, that was an insult, wasn't it?
Only a moron would take it for a compliment.
I ain't no moron.
And it's not a compliment.
Boys, behave.
He started it.
We must make allowances for poets. They're not like other people. Get your things, Bubba. You can have your old room. The one with the stuffed pig.
What time is Lloyd Possum getting here?
Sometime tonight. I do wish Blanche would call. Can't imagine what's keeping her.
I bet the Colonel left me a nice surprise.
A bowling bag, perhaps.
Waka-laka-shaka-laka sister.
Who's that?
Must be Cousin Blanche. She really let herself go.
Hush, Thornburg, that's not Blanche. It's the old voodoo woman. She lives in the swamp.
Good place for her. What's that she's shaking in her hand?
An old chicken's claw or a rat's paw.
You ought to put a bell around her neck so we know when she's coming.
Oh, Bubba, she don't mean no harm. She can't help it if she only shows up when something bad's about to happen.
Huh?
Sheriff called up.
What do you want?
The autopsy.
What about it?
Says Colonel Chicken Wing was drowned. No doubt about it.
Drowned?
He did say one other thing.
What?
It's murder.
Murder?
Hello? Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
I hope that's not an echo I hear.
I've been in some weird places, but that botanical garden, or whatever Cousin Amanda calls it, is downright terrifying. All them spooky vines and bushes that move when you ain't looking, it's enough to give a grown man a chill. And that ain't easy in this weather.
It is hot, isn't it?
You're Blanche. You're easy on the eyes, cousin.
You're mistaking me for someone else.
You ain't Blanche?
My name is Lorraine Carruthers. I'm social secretary to Princess Lotta Cargo.
Lot of what?
Lotta Cargo, the famous international film star. You've seen her on the screen.
She been in any of them kung fu flicks?
Certainly not. She's a great dramatic actress. Nervous, but great.
Never heard of her.
You must be the only one alive who's never heard of Princess Lotta Cargo.
Betcha Thornburg knows her.
Thornburg?
He's my cousin. He's weird. I'm Kamrowski. Bubba Kamrowski. Slap me there, Lorraine.
Ow!
Didn't squeeze too hard, did I?
You've got a grip like an orange juicer.
Comes from juggling bowling balls.
I was beginning to think this place was uninhabited.
You looking for someone special?
The princess said I was to meet her here. A wild idea comes into her head and she takes off.
Likes to roam, huh? I'm the same way.
Occasionally she gets into trouble. Once, she married 3 different men all in the same week, but then she denied ever having met them. Oh, it was a bother keeping that escapade quiet.
This here princess don't sound too firm in the melon.
She's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. When she's acting, that is. But her personal life is a shambles. She's terribly sensitive.
Oh, don't use that word. Reminds me of Thornburg.
Things haven't been going well. Her last films have all been disasters.
Oh, I like them disaster pictures. Planes crashing, boats sinking, buildings on fire, aliens attacking from outer space!
The princess wouldn't have to do with anything of that kind of rubbish. All of her films have been financial disasters. That's the only disaster film Hollywood can't forgive.
I get the picture. The cargo is sinking.
Exactly. When the princess is in a sinking mood, there's no telling what she might attempt.
She'll turn up.
Probably with more husbands. Are you sure she hasn't been here?
As far as I know.
Hey, Bubba, how about helping me with this table and chair?
Why not? Where you want?
Right there. The princess said I was to meet her here. She was terribly upset when she got the news that Colonel Chickenhawk had passed on.
It's Chicken Wing. Chicken Wing.
I am sorry, but I'm a bit disorganized, worried about the princess. Anyway, when the princess got the news about Colonel Chicken Wing's demise, nothing would hold her back, and she drove off. But that was about a week ago. I better call the police. Something must have happened to her.
Well, the phone's out of order.
No phone?
They'll come and fix it tomorrow, more than likely.
I'll go through my address book. Maybe I'll come up with a name. Somebody might have seen her. I'll never forgive myself if something has happened to her.
What's she carrying on about, Bubba?
You heard her. She works for a princess.
Like in one of them children's storybooks?
I reckon.
We got an old witch out in the swamp. Now we got a princess. All we need is a dragon.
Y'all fix that table and chairs for Lori Possum?
Sure enough.
She's a stickler for form.
I'll work up a picture of juleps.
You do that, Jezebel.
Laura Possum dotes on her juleps almost as much as my dear departed brother. Who's she?
She works for Princess Lotta Cargo, the princess is supposed to be here, only she ain't.
The princess promised me faithfully that when she left Hollywood, she'd come directly to Bellacres.
Lot of cargo, lot of cargo. I do seem to recollect that name.
She makes financial disasters.
Who'd want about something like that?
Never did I experience such a humid evening. Bees buzzing in the honeysuckle, mosquitoes buzzing around my head.
How do, Lawyer Possum?
How do, Miss Amanda?
How do, Lawyer Possum?
How do, Bubba? Whew, I declare this has to be the most uncomfortable night Tudball County has ever experienced. Every soul I meet is plain wilted. Why, I just saw a hound dog chasing a rabbit down the road.
What's so unusual about that?
They was walking.
Here's your table and chairs set up all legal-like and formal how you wanted.
Thank you kindly, Miss Amanda. Takes me back to when I was a judge down at the county courthouse.
Jezebel's sloshing up a pitcher of juleps for you.
Pleasures me to hear it. No slosh like Jezebel. This shouldn't take long. You're here, Amanda. You're here, Bubba. You're here, Blanche.
She ain't Blanche.
My name is Lorraine Carruthers. I'm social secretary to Princess Lotta Cargo.
The prin... Ain't no Princess Lotta whatever in the Colonel's last will and testament.
Please, I have no wish to intrude. I'll wait outside.
Be careful, them vines. They bite.
I'll remember.
I want Jezebel in here.
Takes her a spell to slosh them juleps proper.
I mean, she's in the will.
Jezebel?
Yup.
I'll fetch her.
Be so kind as to inform your cousin Thornbird as well.
Jezebel! Thornburg, take away the third!
I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed with the contents of the will, Miss Amanda.
That's what I was afraid of. But surely there's enough to keep the place going.
Place like Bellacres ain't going nowhere.
Why do you say that?
'Cause it's already been. Time marches on.
Does it have to take me with it?
Why all the yelling?
You're in the will.
I'll settle for my back wages.
Sit down, sit down. It's getting too hot and stifling to delay. I gotta read another will tonight up the swamp.
Get on with it then.
First time you've ever sat in my presence, Jezebel.
First time I've ever been in a well.
Thornburg settled me down.
I see no point in delaying. Find yourself a seat, Blubber.
It's Bubba.
I got that will somewhere.
Sure does rile me when people call me Blubber instead of Bubba.
I got it here somewhere. Here it is. 1 pound deveined shrimp, 2 cups sliced fresh okra, 6 drops Tabasco, 1.5 cups cooked rice.
That ain't no will.
It ain't
No, it's a recipe for gumbo.
gumbo. You're right, gumbo. Where is that document?
Why don't you check your socks? That's where you normally keep your important papers.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Now, who could have put that there?
I thought we were gonna hurry this along.
I'm hurrying. You can't move too fast in this sultry heat. It ain't healthy. I'll cut out all the falderall legal gobbledygook. Party of the first party, being sound of mind in said county. Waste of time. All of that foolishness makes folks suspicious of my profession. I'll get to the part that counts.
Who's that?
Oh dear. It's just Thornbird acting out another one of his fancies. Don't anyone say anything rude.
Thornburg's feeling poorly, so I'm staying in for him. It's only logical. I am his sister.
Hey, sister?
Hush, Lord Possum.
He thinks he's his own sister?
Hush, Bubba. Live and let live.
Have you ever thought about having Thornburg committed, Miss Amanda?
Thornburg is committed, Lord Possum, to life!
If you ask me, he's a candidate for a rubber room.
What'd the old man leave me?
Do I get my back wages?
Miss Amanda gets the house.
Bless brother's heart.
Blanche DuBlanc gets his mother's cameo.
It's imitation glass.
Jezebel gets the picture on the wall.
What picture?
That picture.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't get $2 for that frame.
Thornbird gets $1 so he won't contest the will.
What is this, some kind of ripoff?
Thornbird gets a copy of the congressional record covering the brief period Colonel Chickenwing sat in the United States Senate.
My brother won't like this.
There is one peculiar thing Colonel Chickenwing added.
What?
He spells it out here. If anything happens to Amanda before all of this legal hocus pocus, now you see it, now you don't, stuff is finalized, then the property goes to Blubber.
Bubba!
If anything happens to Blubber, it goes to Blanche. If anything happens to Blanche do blank, then the property goes to Thornbird.
What about me? As Thornbird's sister, surely I'm entitled to something.
Yeah, but I didn't bring a straitjacket. If Thornbird croaks or is proven mentally incompetent, which shouldn't be too hard to do, then the house, weeds, and all critters residing herewith go to Jezebel. Well, that wraps things up. I've done my duty. Rest in peace, Colonel. Your wishes have been made known to the grieving relatives.
In 2 days, tomorrow will be yesterday.
Who's she?
There you are, dear old Rance. Dad, where is thy sting? I know where it is. It's here, in my heart.
I bet y'all know who that is. The princess. Wow, a man could get a sunburn looking at them jewels.
No autographs. I'm here incognito. Dear old Rance once told me if ever there should come a time I need a sanctuary, I should flee to peace and tranquility. To Bellacres. I'm in desperate need of peace and tranquility. Drove all the way by myself. Didn't wish to be recognized.
Have a bad trip?
No, thank you. I've already had one.
Why would my brother tell you something like that about coming here?
Why, that should be obvious. I'm his wife.
What?
Stop that dancing up there. Stop it, I say. My brother told me this turn of events would occur. He's found the treasure everybody's been searching for.
Treasure?
Buried on this property. Said a mess of graspy, greedy relatives would show up and try to steal it. She's proof.
I declare.
It's like one of those 6 stories Thornbird's always writing. First my brother, and then me, and then one by one, the relatives who stand in the way of that treasure will get cut down like cane sugar. I'm the next to go, I can feel it. Sheriff Billy Jerk was right, my brother was murdered.
Flowers, flowers for the dead who'll buy.
There, what did I tell you?
What happened to the lights? You screamed!
What's going on? What happened?
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
You're okay, Thornbird. It's all right. Oh, my.
Look, what's that sticking out of her back?
It ain't no butter knife.